And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. This is episode number 56. It's a big one, as always. So, welcome back, everybody. As you notice, I am alone this week. Hitmaster had an emergency situation, and therefore he could not be a part of this episode this week. He apologizes, and he will try to be back next week. But you get a lot of me this week, and you always get a lot of me every day, so not too much of a change. Shouldn't be, but you can click off the video if you want. Does not matter to me. Well, it does matter, but I respect your decisions and choices. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, though, this week for the ones who want to stick around. The Roval is in the books, and we had 2 cutoffs in the playoffs. Xfinity and Cup are both down to 8 drivers for the championship battle. So we'll go over how the races were, and we'll go over who got eliminated in the round. If there's any big shocks, what happened there. We got some silly season news, some pretty big announcements, recent and not so. And then at the end, we will do a playoff outlook going into the round of 8 for both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series, and preview this weekend's action at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So, should be a good one. Might be a little short since I am the only one here, but that's okay. Before we talk about the Roval, though, I will say right off the bat that I did not watch any of the action this weekend. And I am hoping, though, to watch a little bit of the racing this weekend. That's good. This past weekend I was super busy, though, so I just did not have the chance to. And I apologize for that. But in the Xfinity race, I did watch the highlights. There were some tough battles for playoff spots. That was a grinder of a race from what I was able to watch in the highlights. A lot of drivers just really getting up on each other and really fighting for the playoff spots, just all throughout. And I think that is great. Need to be fighting hard. They show they are determined, and then that can spark a bunch of other awesome stuff. It was a semi-chaotic finish for Roval standards, about middle of the pack, maybe a little bit higher up on the middle of the pack range. But I got a correct prediction, and I cannot believe it. Sam Mayer was able to clutch it out. He needed to win to get into the next round of the playoffs, and what does he do? He goes out and gets the win. I predicted he would win. Guy who's been pretty good on the road courses this season was able to come through, win it most, and get the victory in a pretty suspenseful finish. He had to earn it, really had to earn it, but he earned it big time, and rewards with another round moved on. As far as the 4 drivers who were eliminated from the Xfinity Series playoffs this past weekend, Parker Kligerman, not too surprising. He barely got into the playoffs to begin with. Made it, he did okay, but he got eliminated. Josh Berry was also eliminated. You can't DNF twice in the round and expect to move on without a win. You just can't, no matter what round it is. Jeb Burton, also not that surprising. I don't think he had I think 1 win this season, but it was at Talladega, so there you go. But not super surprising that he is out. And Daniel Hemrick was the one that was the reverse benefactor, like whatever the opposite of benefactor is. He was the one who got pushed out with Mayer's win. That's what I should say. So Hemrick was right on the cut line anyways, but was the receiver of the bad end, caught on the bad end of that, we should say. So that's kind of a heartbreaker for him in what was kind of a rebound season for him in the Xfinity Series, but still put up a good fight regardless, and he lost, and it's fair and square. You move on from it. But that was the Xfinity race, and then on the Cup side, much more intense battles were going on here, and another great thing to see. Kind of reiterating the same points I had with the beginning of the Xfinity recap, but so that was cool. Seeing some intense battles. Denny Hamlin had a terrible day. Finished dead last. He had mechanical problems as a result of a collision. But good news for him, he was able to clinch on points. He is into the next round to the dismay of pretty much everybody else in NASCAR, but good news for him. And then there was a really scary fire late in the race from Ricky Stenhouse after he got caught up in an incident too. Whole car was engulfed in flames, and it took him a long time to get out of the car, but he did. And I think that really just shows the safety of these cars and how fire resistant they are, and how that can really, really help drivers. We need all this stuff to stay safe in case of a crash, but you gotta stay preventative as well so that they have the time to get out of the car safely and without injury. So haven't heard of any injuries from Stenhouse as a result, so I think he's okay. The car's not, but they usually get scrapped after a week or two. Anyways, Stenhouse, though, he's okay. That's good news. And then another pretty intense finish that had to be earned. It was the road course ringer himself, AJ Allmendinger, who has been quite terrible on the road courses this season, which is a very, very odd thing for him to have. But he was able to get back to his old self here and prevail and get the win. And he was just as ecstatic as he always is when he wins a race. This is his third win in the Cup Series now. So that is very, very good. First with the new car. So that was cool. Very, very good win. He looked pretty impressive doing it, too. Like the old AJ Allmendinger that always has run really well on the road courses, especially with colleague, too. He had some stuff with JTG Doherty back in 2014. It was a pretty good season for him, but he's really coming to his own here, and that was really, really good to see him get the win. So nothing else really notable took place in the Cup race. There were some other incidents, but not any noteworthy to talk about here. The four drivers that were eliminated, though, from the Cup side, Kyle Busch. It sucks. It seemed like pretty early on in the season he was going to be a championship contender, but he kind of faltered, especially in the playoffs, wrecking out a few times and barely skating by in the first round, in my opinion, coasting off of points and just couldn't carry any new momentum into the second round, and that was his demise. So not too surprising. Bubba Wallace, a lot of people are surprised he made it this far, but here we are. I think he was the last one out too, or the first one out. I think that was. I don't remember. I don't know. NBC hyper focused on him, which I didn't think was really necessary. I mean, you want to focus on the guy who won the race, right? Or the drivers who advanced. It does not make a lot of sense. And then Ross Chastain, who's had quite a quiet second half of the 2023 season and was not really able to light it up at all in the playoffs. That kind of came back to bite him in the ass. So he is out, and so is Brad Keselowski, which was the only one that was a true surprise to me in this round. I guess if you would have told me that Kyle Busch was out in the second round at the beginning of the playoffs, I would have been surprised, but seeing how he raced the last few weeks, not now. Keselowski was putting on a very, very strong season, and I guess still making the playoffs and making it to the second round compared to his first year with RFK is a drastic improvement, and you still have another car in the playoffs. So, but he again just couldn't get to victory lane. I still hope he does get to victory lane. I think he will again soon. Probably okay, maybe not now that he's out of the race or out of the championship contention, but we'll have to see. But those are the four drivers that are eliminated from Cup. So there you go. If you're rooting for any of them, sorry, they are out. So that was the Roval though this weekend. Overall pretty decent action. Nothing too crazy, nothing too shocking. The Roval has put on a lot of excitement, and this weekend it did, but maybe not as strong as some past ones. So, but that's it for the Roval. Put it in the books. So, we got some Other news, some silly season news. First off, a lot of silly season news as we creep closer to the end of the season. Austin Cindric is going to be returning to the 2-car next season. A little surprising, but again, were there really any better options to try and fill the 2-car? He's been okay in a few runs, just not. Other than that Daytona 500 win, he's just been kind of the bust. I don't know. He was expected to perform a little bit better on the road courses than I think he has. That was kind of his strength going in. But, he fell to the curse of Trevor Bayne, I guess. Well, not really. He didn't win his second start. But he hasn't been as terrible as Bayne was, in my opinion. But anyway, he's coming back to the 2. Hopefully we can see some improvement there. Other silly season news, Carson Hocevar has signed a multi-year contract with Spire, and so he will be driving the 77 full-time next season. So that is great news there. Give this young kid more of a chance. He hasn't really done that terrible in Cup equipment in the few races that he's ran this season. I think he even got a top 10, or at least was contending for a top 10. I think that was at Bristol, if I remember correctly. I don't know exactly. So it's going to be cool to see what he can do. I mean, Spire's not the strongest equipment out there, obviously. But, it's going to be getting the foot in the door, giving an opportunity for the future. So that should be good. Sheldon Creed will not be returning to RCR in 2024. This was kind of shocking news, as Creed has not been terrible in the 2-car this season for RCR, but he has not been great. I mean, he's been a contender, though. Like, it's not like he's been terrible. So it's a little bit shocking, but he's probably getting offers from better teams, stronger equipment, or more promising equipment, or something along that lines. We don't really know exactly the full story of this. It just came out today at the time of recording it, this episode, so we don't really know. Matt Mills is moving up to the truck series. He's going to the 42 truck full-time in 2024, so that's good to know. Another nice prospect moving up, and it should be pretty exciting to see what he can do next season. So. And then I'm gonna probably butcher this guy's name. Sorry in advance. Here we go. Akinori Ogata. I apologize if I mispronounced that name, or if I did, but so sorry. But anyway, he is going to be driving the 53 Xfinity car at Martinsville. Now, this is not his first Xfinity start. In fact, he started a race in 2021. I think he did one earlier this season, too. So this would be his third career start. He's done some other stuff in, I think, trucks. It'd be interesting to see what he can do. I mean, the 53 is not necessarily the strongest equipment out there. Far from it, in fact. But at least giving him the opportunity, and that's always good. Like I said, getting the foot in the door. We got a few other news pieces. Another tribute to Kevin Harvick. The Cup race at Homestead was just announced a couple days ago that it's going to be called the Forever 400 with the number 4 EVER, which is really, really cool. I think that's a really, really cool... Sorry. Hopefully that's it. Probably not. It's pretty late at night. Anyway, I think that's a really cool tribute for Kevin Harvick. To have a race named after you. How crazier could it get? I don't know. That's really, really cool. Homestead's a track that's been pretty favorable to Kevin Harvick. Not super favorable, but not terrible either. He has a win there, so it'd be really, really cool. Here's one of the crazier pieces of news for the week. Matt Kenseth has been named Legacy Motor Club's competition advisor. And if you are wondering what a competition advisor means, I'm with you. I have No idea what that position means or what that means for Matt Kenseth. I'm wearing a Spartan football shirt, so I might as well make the analogy that they're just pulling a Mark D'Antonio and bringing him Kenseth back into NASCAR as far as like an advisor role, where it mostly probably just is for publicity reasons and to have a big name there to help with your failing company, because you for some reason decided to switch over to Toyota, which just doesn't make any sense to me at all, other than bringing in the big bucks. And I guess that's really all that matters, doesn't it? Not just in NASCAR, by the way. But yeah, I don't know if this was a position that they just created for Matt Kenseth, or they or it's like something that, did anybody get booted from this spot? Who was in it before? Questions that we will probably never get answered. But anyway, Matt Kenseth is with Legacy Motor Club now. Kind of weird. I would feel like he would choose going to Gibbs or Roush, or I guess it's not RFK, not just Roush, but go to one of those teams, aka the two that he drove for. I don't know. Right. Well, I guess Ganassi's not around anymore. He did race for Ganassi, but it's just a weird spot. But maybe it'll bring a little bit of extra. Here's early on. It'll bring a little extra fire to the team, which is what I need right now, because I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. Okay. The only other piece of news, yes, it's a very, very light news week when half the stuff is silly season stuff. But we got a couple other things actually. We'll touch on another thing in a minute. But first off, Sonoma is getting repaved. And it's going to be ready to go for the NASCAR weekend in 2024. If this was confirmed, by the way, by Bob Pockrass, not NASCAR themselves, but Bob Pockrass is enough of a reliable source for me to cover him. Okay, that's all we need to know. But if you would have told me that the next track on the circuit to be repaved was Sonoma, I would have called you crazy. I've never seen Sonoma as like a really rough racetrack, one that was in desperate need for repair. So I had to think about it for a little bit. I was like, why would they need to repave Sonoma? And when you think about it, it does make sense in my opinion. The track is baking under the California sun, a dry area. I guess they're more northern California, but you got a lot of stuff going on, and it's I hate yawning. It does get a lot more use outside of NASCAR. And IndyCar used to go there. I think they still do. And they do drag racing there, which I get, again, it's probably not, I don't think it's on the actual course. I think it's on the same property, but not the same course. I think they do like supercars there. They do a bunch of other stuff there too. So the track gets more use. And I guess I really don't know the last time it got repaved. It could have never gotten repaved. But I never thought of the track needing tire wear being a massive issue at Sonoma. It's just never been a thing for me. It's a road course, so it's gonna have a certain level of tire degradation on a race, but I just don't see that being a major issue. But maybe the drivers are complaining about it. Maybe this was scheduled. We really don't know. All we do know though is it's getting repaved. I know IndyCar season's done by now, so they're probably going to start. I don't think they have anything else going on there, so it'll be interesting to see if this does anything to the surface of the track, or not the surface. I sound like a freaking idiot. No, of course it's going to do something to the surface of the track. They're literally repaving it. Pringleson, what are you doing? Get off your ass, Pringleson. What are you doing? Anyway, what's it going to do to how the track drives? It's a road course, so it's probably not going to have too much of an effect. Are they going to change like banking though? Or it's a road course. Are they going to add bank? That would be freaking cool. That'd be freaking awesome if they could add serious banking to a road course. You know how freaking cool that would be. They're going like turning right on the banking like that, and you can just carry your speed all throughout. I know like Watkins Glen is partially banked in some areas a little bit, but Sonoma, dude, if they put that in Sonoma, like think about that. Let's say that hairpin turn 11. Let's say that gets banked, and they can just fly through that. That would be freaking sweet. Not gonna happen probably, but that would be freaking sweet in my opinion. I digress though. Usually when Hitmaster talks, well, I agree to drink water, but can't do that this week. But it's cool. But again, just not my first choice. I would have chose North Wilkesboro first, or I don't know what other track is in desperate need of a repave. A lot of people have been saying Daytona is in desperate need, like Dale Jr. But maybe that's the way they want it. Maybe it's just becoming the track that they want it to be. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. The only other piece of news really that's noteworthy for the week was actually coming out of IndyCar, kind of. It was announced a while back that Kyle Larson was going to do the what's it called? It has a name to it. He's gonna do the duel. I don't know. He's gonna run the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 in the same day. Double duty. That's what it is. He's gonna do double duty next season. So today, or I think yesterday or whatever, he got in the IndyCar at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and did his first test, and got a feel for the track. So that was pretty cool. A lot of buzz going around that. A lot of hype around Kyle Larson. A guy with massive dirt track experience, getting to try his hand at the double duty, which is cool. Oh no, he ran. Okay, so he passed his rookie orientation program test. Did he really even need to take that? It's freaking Kyle Larson, dude. The dude has raced everything except horses at this point. I mean, this guy's probably raced shopping carts around like a Walmart or something. If he even goes to Walmart. Maybe a Publix. We'll say Publix. Does he really need to take a test for that? I feel like he's done open wheel at some point, right? I don't know. Anyway, but he passed the test. Woohoo! He's gonna race in Indy, maybe. I don't know the logistics of it, but it's still cool. It hasn't been done. It'll be the first time in 10 years that somebody has done double duty. That was Kurt Busch was the last one to do it, and he did pretty good. He got 6th in the 500, and he was doing okay in the 600 until he blew his motor before the end of the race. He didn't actually finish it. The last driver to finish both, I know Robbie Gordon did it twice. I think Robbie Gordon did. Tony Stewart's done it too. I think a couple other drivers have done it too. I don't remember, but there'll be more hype going around this. He's probably going to do some simulation testing, maybe a couple more on-track tests, but he's really not going to get more on-track media coverage about the 500 probably until May or April. So we're going to wait a while for that, but oh well. That's a whiles away. I like to think. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, guys. Don't worry. So, but anyways, that's really all I had for news. Can't really think of anything else to talk about this week, which is kind of annoying. I'll do another refresh my news page, which is just the Google front page when I search up NASCAR. So it doesn't really seem like there's much. I'll look up Corrigan Oil Speedway real quick. Home track, maybe there's some news. There is not any news. that I can see. We'll check Facebook. I don't care. I don't care. Shut up. Nothing posted on their Facebook in almost a month. That is wonderful. Okay. Wild. Anyway. That means it is time for playoff stuff. So I'm going to do the Xfinity first. Let me just pull it up, because I got to do it this week. You know what? Let's read some NASCAR Arcade Rush reviews first. Oh my god, they got even worse. Our average is a 6 out of 10 on ZTGD, 2.5 out of 5 on the Xbox Hub, 58% on OpenCritic. Oh god. 3 stars. 3 stars there. Oh god. Reddit calls it a competent arcade racer on Switch. I don't know if I would call it such. I think we should put that to bed. We got the iRacing game to look forward to now. So, let me just pull up the Xfinity Series standings. Oh, fuck. Alright, here we go. So, I don't know if this is correct or not, but we're going to go with it. Oh no, here we go. Playoffs, here we go. Okay. So in the Xfinity Series, they went to 8 drivers. Their next cutoff, they're pretty much following the same schedule as the Cup Series by now. In 8th, 14 points below the cut line, is Sammy Smith. There's 2 Toyotas left. Sheldon Creed, who, is all the drama about he's not coming back to RCR next year. He's 12 points below the cut line in 7th. In 6th, 11 points below the cut line, is Chandler Smith. And the last driver below the cut line, only 2 points back, is Cole Custer. Somehow, even though he was 40 points below the cut line and would have been promptly, viciously eliminated had he not won last week, but Sam Mayer is somehow entering the week 2 points above the cut line. That is pretty crazy. Ahead of him is his Junior Motorsports teammate, Justin Allgaier, who is 17 points above the cut line. Austin Hill is 21 points above the cut line, and 37 freaking points above the cut line is John Hunter Nemechek, who is running away with the season. But you can't run away with the season anymore. You know why? Because they always just round them all back. And then at the end of the season, last race won't even freaking matter points-wise. You just got to go out there, win the race. And that's what the suspense is for. That's what the money is for. That is the Xfinity standings. Now let's pull up the Cup standings. Okay. Here we go. Alright, so they also cut off to 8 after the Roval. So, how does it restructure? In 8th, 10 points below the cut line, is Ryan Blaney. Surprised that he's still even in the playoffs. But, he did win at Talladega. In 7th, 8 points below the cut line. Actually, there's a tie. There's a tie for 6th. Between Tyler Reddick and Christopher Bell. They are both 8 points below the cut line going into the week. And then, holy crap, the driver that I'm rooting for to move on, because it would be hilarious and awesome to watch. 3 points below the cut line, though. The only Ford left. Oh, no, there's 2 Fords. I keep forgetting my manufacturers. Chris Buescher is still somehow in the playoffs and very much in contention to make the Final Four. 3 points below the cut line with Las Vegas. What's the other one? Homestead and Martinsville. He can win Martinsville. He can hang on at Vegas. He can hang on at Homestead. This is insane that he is still here and hanging on by a thread. He has not even been that loud in the playoffs, yet here he is. It is crazy. And then the first driver above the cut line, 3 points above, is Kyle Larson. Denny Hamlin is in third, 11 points above the cut line. Fitting, because that's his number. Martin Truex is 15 points above the cut line. The dude barely scraped by the next round, and he gets all of his points back, well, some of them, to get all the way back up to second. I don't know if he can afford to do that a third time, but god damn it, he probably will, and he'll probably get through it. And then leading 20 points above the cut line is William Byron. So we have 3 Joe Gibbs cars, a Penske, RFK, a 2311, and 2 Hendrick cars left in the playoffs. No Joey Logano, no Chase Elliott, no Kyle Busch. Who's the personality that we root for here now? Probably Chris Buescher. That's who I'm rooting for personally. But really, I'd be happy with most of the drivers winning the championship that are still left. Truex has already won the champion. Truex and Larson have already won the championship. Therefore, I wouldn't necessarily pick them to win again. But Truex winning, I always say that's a feel-good story for me. Larson too, I mean, not so much, but I would still not be terribly mad about it. Hamlin, I don't think would be a popular win for anybody. And quite frankly, I don't see it happening. Byron would be cool though. Buescher would be freaking awesome. Bell would be cool. Reddick would be cool too. And Blaney wouldn't be too bad either. So, but that is it for our playoff standings, and we'll move on to now the last segment of this podcast. I know, or this episode this week. And like I said, shorter episode with no Hitmaster, and also fairly light news week. So we're previewing this action at Las Vegas. Let me just make sure I figure out who's fully running this weekend. Alright, so it is again Xfinity and Cup racing. Trucks are off. In fact, they only have 2 more races left, the trucks do. But so who do we think? So it's Las Vegas, a late in the season race. Early starts too. The Xfinity starts at 12:30 local time, and the Cup Series starts at 11 a.m. local time. Las Vegas has lights, right? They put lights in. Even start the damn race at like 7. I don't understand, but you gotta have it on NBC, and football prevails. You gotta have it on NBC. I don't know why you gotta have it on NBC. Put it on USA and start it at 7. Doesn't make any sense to me. That's what I do, and that's what I hope the fans would want you to do. Whatever. Las Vegas is not... I still am not 100% on having Las Vegas in the playoffs. But I don't think it's going to be like the most boring race in the playoffs. Your worst competition for that is Texas Motor Speedway. I think anybody could beat out Texas Motor Speedway at this point. In the least boring race contest. But Vegas, probably expect some fuel mileage. Late restarts too will definitely be a factor. And hopefully some drama that helps shake up the playoffs. We gotta attack the bigger guys, especially in the Xfinity Series. There's a big point differential, and you want any drama, you gotta shrink that down a little bit. Cup Series, there is still a pretty big point differential, but not by as much. So, but who do we think is going to win? First off, we got the Alsco Uniforms 302. I just not have say 300. That's the other thing with, like, they always did that in New Hampshire. They would always do 301. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. Just do three. If you're gonna do a funny number that's not a 0 or a 5, do. I guess the NASCAR would always be 0. Do 420. Do 420. Do a 420. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I digress again. So I was correct last week with my prediction in the Xfinity Series. Can we make it back-to-back weeks? Who do I think will win? I think I got to go with the most obvious pick this week, and say that it's going to be John Hunter Nemechek. This seems like a track where he's gonna clinch the Final Four, just get it out of the way right away, and just kind of win. I don't really see anybody that could really challenge him for this win. I really just don't. Doesn't really. What's a good word here? Doesn't really make any sense to say anybody else, really. Hope we make it 2 for 2. We'll see. And then the Cup Series, we don't have the chips this week, obviously. It will not be AJ Allmendinger winning again, and if he does win again, that would be a huge shock. But who do I think is going to win? Well, I think it was William Byron that won the last time they were there, right? I think that's who it was. So how about we pick the boring point leaders to sweep the weekend? We'll give William Byron the win to punch his ticket to the Final Four in Vegas. We're in Vegas. I hope for some gambling, especially on fuel mileage and pit strategy, and maybe taking a little bit of that more evasive action, especially if you're a driver that's already out of the playoffs. Like, make the move. Like, what the hell? Doesn't really. Just do it. Somebody make the freaking move. Okay. Anyway, those are my predictions for the weekend. So there you go. So who you think is gonna win this weekend? I want to know in the comment section down below. But anyways, that's gonna do for this episode. Really don't have much else to talk about. But if you would like to be a guest on the Talkin' NASCAR podcast, we would gladly have you on. All you gotta do is go join the Pringleson and Company Discord server. The link is in the description down below, and just request the Talkin' NASCAR role once you're in, and then get in contact with me and or Hitmaster, and we will coordinate and work on a time to get you on the podcast. We'll take you any week. Talk about all sorts of stuff, and it will be awesome stuff. So. But that's going to do it for this episode. That's going to do it for this video as well. Check out Hitmaster while you're at it. He should be back next week, hopefully. We're hoping he's okay. But anyways, you can go check out his stuff. Go check out my stuff as well. And stay tuned for other much more amazing content from both of us as well. So go drop a subscribe and likes and whatever, the jazz and the stuff. And oh my God, I'm tired. Okay. It's going to do it though with this video. Stay tuned. Much more amazing content. And until next week, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.